I'm here at the American Legion Hall, Jonathan Stevens, and we've had our World War II militaria sale today, and everybody's happy. We're had a few talks, and the last one we're going to do here is squad tactics.
My name's Nick. I'm with the 9th Infantry Re-enactment group here. Alright, so this goes pretty in depth here. Basically, I've got just squad level tactics is what we're going to be doing in the field. It doesn't differ much between platoon level and squad level. It's just the amount of guys and how you divide them up. But basically what I'm going to cover today is the rifle infantry squad and basic squad assault and maneuvering as a squad. There's some differences as to how we do it now and how they did it back then. So I did my research and my homework and found exactly what the differences were, so we can look realistic and do it as they did. So what I've got basically here set up now is your World War II infantry squad. It's composed of 3 different fire teams. There's Able, Baker, and Charlie. Nowadays we only are split into 2 fire teams for infantry squads. We have an Alpha and Bravo. But back in the day they ran a slightly bigger squad and had a little more maneuvering elements. It's a little more complex than how we do it nowadays, but you know, it's not too hard once you kind of grasp how it moves. Basically, your Alpha Able team is your forward security and your command element. So it's composed of 3 guys. You've got your point man, and then you got a second rifleman and your squad leader in your Able fire team. So the squad leader obviously will stand in the back, because when you're moving through any kind of position where there's suspected enemy, you don't want your squad leader to be your point man. Not really the smartest thing. So you've got your point man, and then the guy next to the point man, we would call him like the orientation guy today, but he was basically, back in the day, he was the guy who would check his compass and the map, make sure you're staying on target, on point. Because if you're going to be marching for miles through woods or whatever kind of terrain, you want one guy right by the squad leader to keep you on point. So his job as a second man is to keep you traveling in the right direction and keep an eye on any incoming terrain. And basically this forward element here, these 2 guys, they're constantly on security. Everyone's always on security. I'm going to go over that a lot. But these 2 guys are the most important forward security element whenever you're maneuvering as a squad. Your squad leader stays at the back of that first team in order to maintain command over the entire squad. However, he's up here in front so he can talk to these guys if they see something, if they see possible enemy position or any kind of terrain or anything. He's going to stay right to them so he doesn't have to run back and forth to go see what's going on. Nowadays, the squad leader pretty much stays smack dab in the middle of the squad, as well as the RTO, the radio telephone operator. And that's mostly just maintaining command presence over your squad, because when you got 12 guys, it's kind of hard to maintain them all at once unless you have middle control. Your assistant squad leader is actually in the back of the pack. He's all the way in the back with the rear security. The reason for this is if Able team's blown up or get pinned down, you still have a maneuvering command element that can maneuver around to get these guys out of trouble. And then you have your middle element, which is typically with an infantry squad, it's your machine gun, special teams, base of fire element. So you got your command team, your base of fire team, and your maneuvering element. 3 fire teams in the infantry squad. Depending on the mission and your objective, this middle fire team, you can switch out mortars, machine guns, a demolition crew, whatever your objective is. The middle Baker team is the one that's going to accomplish it. Also, any actions on the objective, they're the guys who carry, you know, any kind of TNT or explosives that they're going to use to blow anything up, whatever they're planning on doing. So for the sake of today, they're a machine gun element, for your base of fire. So your 12-man squad, fully stacked, is going to be 3 guys in your forward security and command, 3 guys in your base of fire, and then you're going to have 6 guys in your maneuvering element.
I had a question.
Sure.
Would the BAR be located in the second group or primary?
The BAR, there's a couple different ways. It's the weapon used is going to be decided on whoever's in command.
Okay.
So your company commander, whatever the mission is, he say, hey, you know, instead of bringing a 1919 out there, bring 2 BARs, something like that. But typically your base of fire element will be in the middle. So a lot of times we saw, instead of, you know, an LMG or any kind of machine gun, he had a BAR and an
Depends on
assistant
the
gunner.
terrain and what their objective is.
Absolutely. I mean, if you got to go over mountains, woods, you don't want to be having to hump a
1919.
Earlier in the war, they would take heavy gun crews, but later in the war and towards Holland and Market Garden, they would start switching out the 1919 for 2 more mobile BARs, and they would have a rifleman with each to pick it up should something happen to the gunner.
A lot of times in infantry units, you saw 1 BAR here at the base of Fireteam, and then 1 BAR in the maneuvering element to help before they flank the objective. Yes, and so I went over the command element, the squad leader. In a platoon size element, your lieutenant or platoon leader would stay with the command, the forward squad. So basically, if we were to transfer this from a squad level to a platoon level, platoon consists of a couple squads, you know, 3 or 4 depending on your mission. Your platoon would consist of squad, squad, squad. Here at the squad level, we've got team, team, team. And same jobs as before, you know, command, basic fire, maneuver, command, basic fire, maneuver. Let's see, your squad leader carries typically what NCOs would carry. Your squad leader is often a sergeant, staff sergeant, somewhere in that range. Your assistant squad leader is going to be sergeant, corporal, something like that, and then rifleman, it's your basic privates and private first class, whatever you got. The basic fire element consists of your gunner, an assistant gunner, and an ammo carrier, ammo bearer. Pretty straightforward what they are. And then your maneuvering element is light riflemen. Their job is to move fast and quick, because the less time you spend assaulting an objective, the safer everyone is, less chance you got. And so nowadays what we have is we basically move it like that, and you've got your typical modern day squad. You move your base of fire element to your alpha team instead of your Bravo team, because Bravo, your rear team will always be your maneuvering element. Of course, obviously there's a plan for everything, and that doesn't always work out the way you intended, but that's how the book's written, and it works pretty well. Base of fire could also include your mortar team, bazookas. Already covered that, that's pretty good. And then your maneuver element. So this is how we would move as a squad. Moving to, you know, to our objective, to the field. This would be the best place to go. And say you were moving through fields, you spread it out horizontally in your direction to travel. Okay, so you have your direction, and then if you're moving through very dense conditions, you keep it tighter. If you're moving through an open field, you want to be spaced out as far as possible to give yourself the biggest presence in the field. Typically, your spacing by the book is 3 to 5 meters if you have the space to move. Say you're doing a field operation, everyone's basically going to be side by side. Squad leader's going to maintain more of a command presence, but these guys are going to be spread out 3 to 5 meters. That's, you know, 9 to 15 feet apart from each other. So you still can maintain communication with the guy next to you, but one explosion, one grenade's not going to take the entire element out. And that's the reason for the spacing. Urban environments, you're going to maintain the same squad structure. However, you're going to maintain about a 5 to 10 foot difference away from each other. You don't want guys stacked next to each other where one burst or one grenade could take out your entire element. You're going to move tighter as a team vertically towards your line, towards your objective, but you're still going to maintain a long squad. And you want to be staggered. You don't want to travel in a line unless you absolutely have to. I think that's pretty obvious why. Bullets don't stop at just one thing. They like to go through things. That's why they invented them. And so you will stagger. You know, if you're walking in a line, you shouldn't be directly behind the guy behind you. You should be off to the side. Maintain the best possible visual you can. Keep your head on a swivel. 360-degree security is pretty much the bread and butter of all infantry tactics. I mean, if I had a nickel for every time I heard security, 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 I could retire. And that's basically the biggest thing in any, I mean, for our purposes of theatrics or real life purposes, security is your main element. You want to look like you're looking around, looking for the enemy. If you're just walking and following the guy behind you, it's, you know, it's bad in either sense. All right, so I'm going to walk us through the squad assault. So I'm going to walk us through this. We're moving as a squad. The point man is obviously leading. There's different hand and arm signals for halt, stop, get down. Pretty universal. You know, halt. That's a dead halt. That means don't move a muscle. This is freeze. You know, they're kind of interchangeable, but this is the one you really got to be strong with. That is, do not move. You'll die if you move. This is one that's like, all right, hey, slow down. Let's back it up. And then continue forward is like that. And then that action is repeated down the squad. Everyone should do it. Even if you're the back guy and no one can see you, you're going to do that. Because you never know who's looking or who's not looking. All hand and arm motions are repeated throughout the squad. It's not just one guy doing it. That way there's clear communication without saying anything of what we need to do. So this is a dead halt. This is a hold up.
If you do a halt, that normally means that caution is to be advised and people will take to their sights. Gunners will deploy. A dead halt, gunners will completely ignore that and just stay completely motionless. So it's more of a be ready as opposed to completely motionless.
Absolutely. So
What's the signal for down?
down. And then the point man's going to get down. He's not going to, everybody get down. You basically are only going to get down if you're ready to fire or are taking fire. Under fire, it's a squad leader's job to yell it, and it's everyone's job to repeat it. Get down means get online as well. So when you get down, your job is not to get down by the guy behind you. Your job is to get into a position where you can fire and then maintain that position. So if we were to be traveling like this, you take fire, these guys are going to form up next to each other, then you're going to get down. Get a good firing position before you hit the ground because you're going to have that extra second in order to do that. Your Bravo team's going to come up, or sorry, Baker team. All World War II is Alpha, or I'm doing it again. It's Able, Baker, Charlie. Modern day, it's Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, but I'm going to confuse it a lot. Force of habit.
We'll get the idea.
Yeah, it's ABC either way. And then these guys are going to get online as well. Your maneuvering element, if possible, should stay out of view. They're going to maintain a command presence in the area so they can communicate with the squad leader, but their objective right off the bat is not to lay down a base of fire or help these guys at all. In a wide open field scenario, they may get down to the side, but their primary job is not to assist these guys with fire. They've got more firepower than they have entirely, and they need to save their manpower for the assaulting element. So we've got these guys here. They're going to get down once contact is made. You're going to call out the direction and the distance of where the fire is coming from if you get down. And that's everyone's job to repeat as well. Whoever sees it, they call it out. And then it's at it's at least the squad leader's job to figure out where they're at and get that info dispersed. But you know, you're gonna yell out. Has anyone heard of a salute report? It's basically after you get contact, you're gonna give the size, activity, location, uniform, time, and equipment of your enemy. It's a lot to remember, but basically if you call out how many you got, what they've got, and where they're at, that's what you are looking for in that report. So you're gonna yell contact, everyone gets down in their positions, and the squad leader's gonna say, hey, what you got? I got an MG nest 50 meters northwest, whatever it is. And it's then the squad leader's job to make sure everyone in Able and Baker teams knows what's up and where they're going to be looking, where they're going to be traveling. They're going to relay that to the Charlie element, who is then going to prepare to maneuver, basically right off the bat. So we make contact. Typically, the guy who's all the way in front of Charlie team is going to be close enough to the Bravo team.
25 feet or 20 feet.
Yeah, in order to say where they're going. And then from that point, the assistant squad leader takes over and he's ready to maneuver that element. The squad leader should not worry about where that element's going to maneuver and how they're going to complete the objective. His job is to find the enemy and pin them in that position so they can't move, so they can move. It's all about violence of action, keeping them, the 4 F's of fighting, as I remember from the field manual. It was find them, fix them, fight them, and finish them are the 4 F's that they taught back in World War II. So you're going to find them. Obviously, you need to get an exact location where they're at. You're going to fix them. Keep them in their spot. Don't let them run. Don't let them pick their heads up. It's okay if they can shoot blind fire. You know, they're going to try to shoot back. That's human nature. But you want to fix them in that position by whatever means possible. Shoot to the right, shoot to the left, whatever you got to do. Keep them pinned in that location because a controlled enemy is awesome. Then you're going to fight them. So what we're going to do is we've set up our base of fire in our command. The maneuver element's going to move up. They're going to pick the easiest route to travel. It's not about finding the best, stealthiest route. It's about finding the fastest route. So they're going to maneuver whatever way possible without crossing, obviously, this line of fire. They take the widest angle possible to fight the enemy. Typically coming in from a 90 degree is preferable because your defenses are usually set up one way. But anything within that basic 90 degree range, give or take 30, 45 degrees, is going to be good for your assault. The squad leader is going to identify which side they're going to. This isn't a live fire scenario. I'm just going to walk through it as I used to teach and as I was taught. But basically this team, their only job is to keep the enemy in place by means of fire and heavy suppression. And they also want to identify where the maneuver element is as not to shoot them. So they want to keep an eye on what side they're coming from and then keep it in their minds. Basically your field of fire, and that's for your squad leader to set up. Your squad leader, his job is not to be shooting, his job is to be setting up. Each guy, hey, they're flanking from the right, don't fire past that tree. Okay? Maneuver element's going to move up. They're going to prepare to assault the objective. Once they're all online, everyone is side by side. No one is staggered because you want to have the biggest field possible in front of you and you don't want to set up the possibility of a friendly fire. You're going to set up online, 6 guys, as wide as you need, whatever. It's up to the assistant squad leader depending on the position. But you're going to set up, make sure everyone's ready, do a quick ammo check on all your equipment, make sure you're good to go before assaulting the objective. So, base of fire and command set, maneuver element set, we're going to begin to assault the objective. Now back in the day they had whistles, but you're going to call for what's called a shift and lift for fire. Shift and lift is where the base of fire and command, they'll shift their fire over to one side of the objective while still maintaining suppression. And then a lift fire is a complete ceasefire. This is the hand and arm signal for ceasefire. It's across the chest, one arm, up and down. that means ceasefire. Everyone's going to relay that. So the first call is for a shift fire. The shift fire comes as the maneuver element begins to move. So they're going to call for a shift. Nowadays they teach throw 2 grenades. Sometimes they say shoot a flare. Whatever you got, whatever you want to use to call for that, that's preset by your squad. They'll say, hey, we're going to call for a shift by means of a whistle. We're going to call for a shift by means of 2 grenades in succession. Or maybe 1 burst from the machine gun. Whatever you got, it's up to you. Anyway, that's going to be the predetermined signal for a shift. At that time, when they shift fire, everyone's going to relay the command to shift fire to the other side of the objective. So they're still shooting, there's still bullets flying towards the enemy, keeping them pinned. And then at that time, the maneuver element, after the call for shift, they're going to begin to assault the objective. Once they get close to the objective, where they could possibly be affected by their own team's fire, they're going to call for a lift of fire. So shift and lift. The lift fire is a seize fire, and that should be a hand and arm signal, because at this time when you call for a lift, you should be in view of each other. You should be able to see your other team that's assaulting the objective. So the lift will come out. These guys will completely cease fire. These guys will work their magic through the objective, clear all enemy threat. At that time, we're obviously not going to do this, but you would collect weapons, anything close to bodies that could be used as a threat. According to the Geneva Convention, back in the day and also modern day, as soon as you step foot past an enemy combatant, you cannot shoot them. Once you have passed their body, alive or dead, you cannot shoot them. And obviously for our purposes, you shouldn't be doing that anyway. But that's the Geneva Convention's rules. You can be tried for war crimes if you do anything differently. That's just some by-the-book knowledge. Obviously, real scenarios, we have double tapping situations and finishing shots, whatever. That's the unofficial guidebook. Basically, you're going to secure the objective by any means necessary. The maneuvering element will completely move through the objective, clear the threat to the other side, and then maintain security on that side. They're not going to remain on the objective because the Germans or the enemy know this location, and this is still a hostile environment until it's been completely cleared through twice. So they're going to maneuver through the objective to the other side, clearing the threat as good as possible, but their primary objective is to assault through, not on, but through. This is how they did it back in the day, and it's still how we do it now. Once they're set and they have their security established, 360 degrees they're watching, mostly with eyes back on the objective. The Able and Baker teams are then going to move to assault through the objective as well. So they're going to cross the line just like the other team did, straight through the objective to the other side, essentially forming an L on the objective. This way you're not on that exact position on the other side, past it. So both teams are going to move all the way through. Say it's a bunker, say it's an MG nest, say they're just out in a field in a formation. You're still going to walk all the way through wherever they're at. There are times where you have multiple enemy positions along the way, but you're going to hit it like this for every single objective. Basically, you're going to assault one objective at a time in this fashion. Maneuver goes through, assault element, or the basic fire team then goes through as well, making an X, setting up security on the other side. This looks really good when anybody does it right. It's really cool looking, and it looks really professional. And then the basic fire team, when they move through, it's their job to do a final clearing of enemy threats. So they're the guys who are going to snatch prisoners, alive guys, and pull them through with them. They're the guys who are going to pick up weapons instead of just kicking them away. They're the guys who are going to eventually take all threats off the enemy. They're going to remove ammo, grenades, whatever they got. So maneuver elements, fast and furious. These guys, they're a little more safe. They're your command element. That's where all your heavy guns are. You want them to do a more thorough job. So they're going to move through, clear every enemy. If they're alive, they're going to take them with them. Leave all dead guys on the objective. Just make sure they're clear of any weapons. And that's basically your squad assault. And after that, we perform what's called actions on the objective. Say, that's when you're going to get your mission done. If you're taking a house, you assault through it, and then you're going to clear that house because that's your objective. If you are blowing up an MG nest, you're going to assault through it, and then actions on, you're going to blow it up. That's how it works. So after everything is assaulted through and after security is set, that's when all the actions on the objective are completed. After that's done, your mission's over. You relay up to command. That's our leader's job. They're gonna say, all right, objective complete, what's next? Wait for their orders. But that's essentially, in a nutshell, the squad assault as they did it in the day. And pretty similar to how we do it nowadays, just it's different